How to pay yourself as the owner of a limited construction company in the UK. We want to be doing it in the most tax efficient way possible. This is how we do it. So if you don't know me, my name's Dean Barton. I've got loads of free content on the construction side of running a proper business. And in this episode, look, it's all about paying you as the owner. And you've got to get it right so you don't trip yourself up. So first and foremost, number one, you've got to be a limited company. You've got to be a real business or a limited company. This is what applies to you as the owner of a real limited company. Now, number two, you've got to get your own advice. Look, I'm telling you stuff that's factual and how it is, but I don't know your exact tax position. You might have a cousin in Uzbekistan, for example, I don't know about, and all sorts of different stuff and income streams you've got. I don't know about that stuff, so I can't advise on that. But I'm talking just in the sense of running a straight, proper, legitimate company. This is really what you want to do. Now, number three, the point you've got to get across, or I've got to get across to you, should I say, is that any money in your company, the way to look at it is it's not your money. It is not your money. Yes, you own the company, but the money within the company is the company's money. And any time you move money from a company, you are creating a tax point. You've always got to bear that in mind, that any time a transaction happens, there is a tax point occurring that could cost you, and it does get a lot of people. Unexpected bills or letters from HMRC come up or come out of the woodwork because you weren't properly informed. You didn't really know what you were doing with your money. So you've got to bear that in mind. Do not just move money willy-nilly, because eventually it will catch up with you. And if you're not on the ball with the money side of things, you're going to get in trouble. That's why a lot of people in this industry complain about cash flow and just lack of profitability and money in the company to use because you're not on it with all this sort of stuff. So always view it that it's company's money, not yours. Next, obviously you've got to pay corporation tax on your profits before you can even start to think about you taking your own money out. You've got to do that as a limited company. Currently the rate's 25%, that is what it is. You can't get away from that. You can speak to your specialist tax consultant or tax advisor on how to reduce corporation tax. But to take money out and to use dividends, we're going to be talking about, you've got to have profits in the company first. You've got to pay corporation tax on that money, and then you can take the dividends out. And look, last point for me, take the least out of your company. Don't take money out just for the sake of taking it out. I know a lot of people take money out of their company and then save it in their own personal account, which is pointless, because back to my tax point thing, what's the point in paying tax on money if you don't need to pay that tax on the money today? You may as well keep the money in the company, reinvest into the company so that it makes you more money, makes more profitability, and then when you want to go and make a big purchase or make a big move personally or do something nice personally, like a nice holiday or something like that, then pay the tax burden when you really need to. But it's pointless taking money out of the company just for the sake of taking it out and paying the tax on it if you don't need to pay that tax today. You're better off deferring tax and being smart with your money. But that's my own personal view. I always try and take the very least out of a company just to try and keep it rolling and keep money in the company, because money gives you options. Money gives you options in a company. There's no point earning money in a company, stripping it of all of its profitability, and you're back to square one every single year because you're not growing. You want to be thinking for the long term. That's my own personal view. But to pay yourself, the smartest way to pay yourself is using, number one, your personal allowance. Every single person in the UK currently gets £12,570 as a tax-free personal allowance. Now, the beauty with this is that this figure is employment. So you go employed by your own company on a salary of £12,570. That does offset the profits of the company, so it will reduce your corporation tax. Again, your accountant will be able to properly advise. But if it's just you, you can properly take £12,570 through the payroll paid to you as an employee. So you're getting like £1,000 a month, completely tax-free. Then to top up your money, you then draw a dividend. But again, bear in mind, you've got to have the profits to be able to do this, because what a lot of people do, and they make the mistake of drawing dividends, when there's not actually enough profit to draw those dividends at the end of the financial year, you can get into a trouble where you've taken too much money out and then you actually owe the company money and you get yourself in a real bad problem. But assuming you've got the profitability there, you take the dividends, and these are the rates that you're going to pay. There's different rates of tax on different levels of dividends. Once you go over the 12,570 personal allowance, up to 50,270 quid, you're going to pay a basic rate of 8.75%. So it's quite cheap personal income tax. It's quite a cheap way of taking money out of a company. It's pretty good. And I would really recommend just going up to that threshold. unless you need to take more money for a particular reason. But why pay more tax? Because the next rate, once you go above £50,000 and 271, up to the bracket of 125 grand, 140 quid, you're going to be paying 33.75% tax on that value, anywhere in that range. So it jumps up significantly. Once you go above 50 odd grand, you're going to be paying a lot more tax on the money that you take out of a company. And then even more, once you go past 125 a year, the government call it the additional rate tax, which is basically, well, the more successful you are, the more tax we want from you. Oh, let's not get into it. Do I agree with it? No. But you reach a certain level of success and they go, well, we'll jump that rate up to 39% on anything above the 125k, 141 quid. But that's just what it is. So it's like, proves my point. Why take money out if you don't need to? Because you're going to be paying a lot higher rate. So if I was you, take up the bare minimum. Obviously, you can put certain expenses through the company, migrating tax, but again, you've got to check that out with your accountant, what you can, what you can't do, playing by the rules of the game. But essentially, if you take 50,270 quid, so we stick into that lower rate, the basic rate of tax, your effective rate is going to be 6.47%. When you factor in that you get 12.5 grand for free at zero rated tax, overall, you're going to be paying 6.47%, which is pretty good. You know, it's pretty cool as a business owner. Yes, we've paid corporation tax. Yes, we've paid loads of other stuff, but on personal income, it's pretty low tax rate. So I recommend staying there for me personally. And what you're going to get is that 6.47% rate is going to be a deduction of 3,255 quid to the HMRC, which means in your bank, you're going to get 47 grand basically for that effective rate of 6.47%. Now, obviously, if you've got a missus that doesn't work, you can put your missus on the payroll. She's got to do a job legally within the company to be able to take that employment. But then she can also have the same dividends, make her a director or another family member a director. So you can actually double that and get that allowance each. So into a household, you can have near on 100 grand for 6.47% across the board between two people. So it's just about being smart with your tax and your money, but that's what I would do, is stick to that threshold, take out the least from your company that you possibly can and avoid that higher rate tax unless you really need to make a purchase. But it's going to be the smartest way to pay yourself. But the most important thing is ensuring you've got the profits there in the first place to take it out and be on top of your numbers. So if you want more help, there is a podcast below the link of this video. Loads of free help on running the company, increasing the profitability, growing your companies. You can actually get to the point of being in the top bracket and not worrying about the 39% because your company's making so much money. See you on the next one. Bye.